Hello, my name is Katie Holmes. I'm the CEO of the British Chamber of Commerce Dubai, and this is our podcast, Don't Do That, Do This. On this episode, I'm speaking to one of our members, Adnan Haroon, who is the regional founder for the CFO Centre in the UAE. Adnan is a chartered accountant, and he is also serving on the Institute of Chartered Accountant for England and Wales, otherwise known as the ICAE, and a council member in the UK for sustainability. He is very, very well placed to talk to us for the finance and the non-finance people in our subscriber base. Please listen, enjoy, and don't forget to follow for future episodes as well.
This podcast wouldn't have been possible without the following teams. Studio Red for their quality podcast studio and video production. And Sherbet Lemon for branding, social media design, and editing.
So Adnan, thank you so much for coming along on our podcast this fine day in Dubai. Full transparency, I am not a numbers person. I'm more on the words and creative side. So I'll have lots of questions for you, but I'm sure all of our listeners that are on the finance side are going to get a lot of insight in terms of helping build their business and scale, because you have so much experience. So I'll try and ask some sensible questions that will be useful for the whole broad audience. So for our listeners and anybody watching as well, please tell us more about the CFO Centre.
First of all, thanks for inviting me here. It's wonderful to be here in this studio as well. Now, CFO Centre is a world-leading organization that provides the fractional CFO services in 18 countries, and we have 750 CFOs.
How many, sorry?
750 CFOs globally.
Goodness me. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very large number. And we enable the business to access the strategic and financial leadership expertise through experienced fractional CFO services. So that's what we provide, and it's really affordable on a part-time basis, and the same level of services you'd get it from any of the large organizations that provide the full-time CFO as well.
Okay, so for people that aren't familiar with fractional recruitment, can you break that down for us?
Well, I think that's what is we bring the CFOs, which is very high strategic CFOs who worked in multinational organizations, and they have very much experience type of things. So, but in the fractional basis that we provide the services for those mid-size or the small organization, that really they require to grow, and they require to have access to the expertise as well. But in the meantime, they are mindful for the cost as well. So that's what we bring here. So we provide these services on once in a week, twice in a week, once in a month, it all depends. So sometimes it's on assignment basis. So those kind of fractional type of services, or it meets the budget as well, and it meets the requirement and align with the financial vision as well.
And how involved do you get in that kind of matching process where you've got somebody that has great skills and expertise, and then you're speaking to a founder of a company that maybe, say it's a creative agency that needs a CFO once a week? How involved do you get in the matching, or are the skills totally transferable for the sectors?
In fact, this is the beauty of the fractional CFO, that we have a mix of expertise. In fact, when you talked about this CFO, it's just, I think, one word: strategy, financial strategy, right? So in fact, otherwise all accountants and everything, although I think definitely they have their own responsibility with due respect. But the CFO, when you become a CFO in any of the organizations, it means that you understand what is the dynamics is about type of things. So today, if you ask me that, Adnan, can you do surgery? I cannot do the surgery, definitely. But yes, on the other bits for the CFO, this goes to the CFO. CFO can do everything in terms of the understand the numbers, understand dynamics, commercial reality as well. So you got a mix of people as well. Definitely, when there is a client require that a specific CFOs require, say for the energy expert or the renewable energy or the oil expert or the mining expertise. So we have all the skill specialists as well. Even we don't have any skill set for the particular CFO's posts, in fact. So we have 750 CFOs across the globe, right? And have a mechanism. So we just need to send a query that, look, if the client is asking, if you are asking me that information, which I may not be, I would like to have a second opinion. So I can go and approach to those 750 CFOs. So that kind of a thing is being there.
Okay. And tell us more about your background. What's led you to the CFO Centre yourself?
Well, Do you want me to get my background? In fact, overall, what I did in that year, I think
There's some HSBC in the background there as well. So
yeah, definitely. No, in fact, I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and I did my articleship from KPMG in Pakistan, and that's where my journey started. And I spent almost 3 decades of experience, 15 years with HSBC and 5 years Standard Chartered Bank and other regional banks. So I worked in local bank as well, district bank, commercial bank. So I was lucky enough to really to manage the various functions of finance to the strategy, merger acquisitions, CFO, Chief Operating Officer, as well as the acting CEO and the CEO as well. So I was really blessed with my all experiences, blessed with my, in fact, the my seniors as well, who had provided me opportunity. And I worked in the multiple countries as well. So that gives me a more diversity as well. So ranging from Pakistan to the Middle East. So when I was here, regional audit role, so the whole Middle East, Oman, Qatar, Bahrain, Lebanon, Jordan, even Egypt was there. So I was traveling a bit. So it gives me a lot of insight of the businesses, cultures, and everything. So that 30 years really is a very, very important role for me. So 25 with the banking industry, as I told that. And 5 years, I started my own consultancy in Canada called Bionic. And then at the same time, I joined the CFO Centre in Canada. So I was familiar with the model and the approach and the quality and the work, the way they work. It's very impressive. So when I moved to Middle East, in fact, and also the opportunity here. So I was in touch with the management team and the group CEO as well as the head of operation that we should bring CFO Centre to the Middle East. And definitely when it comes to the Middle East, UAE being the regional hub for the businesses. So UAE was a natural choice. So that's what we brought it here, and we just recently opened few months back here.
Okay. So from bringing it from Canada to the UAE, and obviously, as you said, sensitivity around cultural, what were the big changes in the proposition and the platform from Canada to UAE?
Well, the business model remained the same. In fact, so what is really attracting here, especially if you look at the number of companies, in fact, that's really evolved over the last few years, and especially post-COVID, we are seeing the number of companies has increased. The British companies, Canadian companies, a lot of the companies. So there's a need is being there, right? So again, we have to spread those new companies. Those companies really a startup. We see the business opportunity in the region as well, and those companies who has been already been present in say Canada, US, and everything. So they also open up their branch office here, and they would like to expand the business here. So that kind of opportunity has been there, and they need definitely support and guidance. That's where our role comes in.
So should the CFO have regional experience as a prerequisite? Would you say that was most important?
Yeah, I think region is a must. I think because we have, I think out of the 750, definitely we also have built up our own team here, small team, and we are further in the process of signing some of the contract with the other people. So basic requirement, definitely they should have a regional experience first, so they understand the culture, they understand the dynamics of the businesses, because every country has a different dynamics. So this is one of the requirement. The second, definitely they have worked as a CFO in some of the organization earlier, and they should be, I think every CFO should be a business minded. In fact, they should have entrepreneurial skill set, right? So that's a basic thing. So few things: CFO experience, regional experience, and business manager here.
And is it true through accounting and finance that you're all through your qualifications, you're taught to see the company's money as your own money? Is that a mindset that is throughout the CFO Centre as well?
I think obviously that's what the one of the prerequisites, and that definitely treat your uh, business as if you're running the business, right? Otherwise, you'll not see the dynamics. You'll just see the very good picture, right? Everyone would like to see the good picture, but I think that when you go to the deep dive, when you understand that it's real money, in fact, if you are spending even $1 or 1 dirham, make sure that you spend wisely, right? And that's the role of the CFO to really guide the businesses where they need to spend the money and how effectively they should be getting return.
And do you see that the role of the CFO has evolved over the years?
Lot.
Yeah.
In fact, and especially over the last decade, if you look at, especially the financial crisis came impact, and we have seen. So CFO role is now, CFO is a strategic partner rather than just number crunching and reporting and providing the dashboards to the management. I think what's beyond that, what's the forward looking approach, that type of things. So it's really evolved a lot over the last decade. And if you look at the success stories of the institutions, being a mid-sized, large, or it's always behind the CFO is being there. And that's what we were talking about earlier, that the CFOs are becoming now CEOs as well. And most of the background, especially if you look at the numbers of the statistics that's been published by the various big fours, how the CFOs evolved to the CFOs. So most of the CEOs now having a background of CFOs. That's the driving force.
And we shared this exchange before the podcast, but I was at the Marketing Society
Yes.
annual event yesterday, so there might be some competition because one of the panels was CMO to CEO. So we'll be fighting for each other at the top.
Well, a CMO is chief marketing, right?
Yeah.
In the CMO.
Yes.
I think definitely you need a marketing person to really grow the business. Now, do the marketing person has an appetite or they have a skill set of the finance? Do they really know the numbers? In fact, when you grow the business, as we were discussing before the postcard, in fact, you have very good profitability is being there. 15% ROI, everything is being there, return on investment, you have amazing job that you're doing. But are you really going further? Is it really cash flow is being there or not? And how you're utilizing that one. So that's very important. That's in fact I guess that definitely the CMOs will be a great CEO as well from the marketing business of things person as well. But if they have more added advantage, if they would have a little bit more finance insight type of thing. That's where in fact even CEO, if CMO become the CEO as well, if he has a good CFO, it will be
Absolutely. We need each other.
Yes.
Okay. And in terms of that CFO role evolving, again, something we were talking about before the podcast, which I'd love you to expand on. So you have personal experience and evidence of through your CFO role, looking at client experience and looking at the journey. So can you share the anecdote that you shared with me around small changes in the client experience having a massive impact on the bottom line?
I think first thing is depend on what you're thinking about. I think that's what's your next role is about. So when I told you that when I was a CFO as well, in fact, I always look for the extra opportunities coming up down the line as well. So that's one of the reasons that I took another role of the chief operating officer at that time, because the administration, the IT was there as well. One of the organization that I worked for, Standard Chartered Bank, they introduced the small country governance framework. So Oman was on the pilot site, and I was the first chief operating officer who was managing the not only finance but also risk, compliance, HR, operations, everything was there. So huge learning opportunities being there. So I think that's the mindset that we have to really make sure it's being there. And when I talked about when I took over one of these bank, which is a global bank as well, but they have a small branch there. So I become the CEO as well. So when we look at the numbers and everything, it was not growing impact. It's a little bit a challenging position at that time. So what we did, in fact, we just established some of these best practices, which I brought from the international experiences, just to take care of the customers and just take care of their staff. I think your team is very important. Forget about everything. Forget about even business as well, because you have business plan, that's fine. If your team is not working properly, and if you are not motivated, then done. In fact, you don't do that. So when I took over one of these charges, the challenges of the staffing, business, and the system as well, definitely. So all these three things, I think we have to do step by step. So when I asked my team, in fact, the corporate team, that when you met with the last few customers, corporate retail, so they told me a few months back, and I said, no, I think you should be every day you should be interacting, I think, with the key clients, and definitely. Then I did nothing. I just invite the customers for the small events you organize, and then we just share the idea. We ask for the complaint as well. I was open to hear from them about the complaint as well. And we start celebrating small things, because definitely staff was never been recognized for 20 years. They work for the national when I took over the charge. In fact, then I talked, how many years you have been there? So I'm 10 years. I'm for 20 years. So then I talked to head office. Look, they have never been recognized. Why? So there was no practice. I said, no, I think we should adopt the practice as well. Like, staff is one of the key. Then we start giving them quarterly awards, monthly awards, and 20 years award, everything. And we start celebrating small things, I think, birthdays and these type of things. celebrating each religion, regardless of Christmas, Diwali, whatever, Eid celebration, everything. So that was the fundamental thing was there. And this particularly, in fact, when we start the giving the gifts and recognizing the customer. So give example that Diwali was coming, I said, what you're doing for Diwali? They said, we have not done anything. So I said, why don't you give the gifts? And the gift has to be not to be given by post. Every manager has to go personally, go to client premises and give it to them. So that's how we just only 30 or maybe 50 sweets and everything we distributed. And the result was very positive in terms of when I visited one of the branch, and luckily I interacted with one of the customers. He called me from the back, said, hey, Adnan, you are there? So yeah. Or you are managing the show. I said, yeah, admin. So what happened to the bank? I said, what happened? He says, I'm your client for the last 40 years. And I have not been seen. The people are coming and giving to me that particular sweets. So he was very happy. And he was not happy earlier, definitely, for some of the reasons. Then he told me, "No, don't worry about this thing. We will uh, take a relationship to the next level. And definitely not myself. In fact, I'll recommend to my family office, family, other cousins and brother to start making the relationship." So these are the whole basic thing, right? So the basic thing, when you fix stopping with the customer, then I think your business will grow.
Well, I mean, that's you're totally singing from the same hymn sheet for me there as well. I mean, it's I see it time and time again in the membership where you can see from afar where things are broken, and it's often in morale and culture. So do you feel you have a responsibility with the CFO Centre to almost, you've got these ambassadors of CFO Centre going out into other businesses. So do you have training, or do you have almost like, yeah, what's your guidance to be for these CFOs going out and working on your behalf in companies?
Well, if I'll take to the, I think initially for the CFO center. So as I told you that what are the requirement for onboarding on a contractual basis, there has to be CFO, there has to be qualification. So it's bread and butter. I think that they have to really come back. And with the join, definitely there's a process that how CFO center works in terms of our methodologies being there, and about the toil box that we do, in fact, and how to interact with the customers for the first meeting, second meeting, how to onboard the distribution partner. So there's a whole mechanism. That's what the CFO center I liked about, because it's a kind of a whole suite, in fact.
Mm,
So it's not only,
to me.
yeah, it's just an academy, but if you compare with the other suite, other consulting companies and all type of thing, they're also providing the same services. But this is an organization. When you come, as if we are hiring, but we are not hiring the staff, right? But you're going to all the steps together, and you understand that type of thing. I think Wes joined definitely while we go with the all the steps together to see to the client as well. The basic thing that we need to understand from the client, what's the pain point, right? What's really affecting their business, or is what they are worried about, what they would like the business to do the next, right, for them, in fact. So that's what we really focus on. So we sit with the client, in fact, and understand their issues. What are the issues are being there? It's not on a commercial basis. Commercial definitely comes to the later stage, but we need to understand the client. And then we talk to, okay, what you're doing, how you're doing, what's your next step? Are you really managing that one? Do you have the finance team and how they're performing? Are you getting the enough report or sufficient report to really make the decision type of thing? So that really makes us a difference as well. That should, I think, ideally be all CFOs will be looking at. And this is our DNA in the CFO center, that when we go to the client, make sure that we listen to them carefully, we understand the problem, and we provide them and guide them properly.
What sort of placement times are there? Because I'd imagine everything you've explained, that there's quite a lengthy process in that onboarding and getting to know the company that you're working with, and obviously applying whatever strategies are going to work best. But say, for example, someone has to do that and also deliver in a 3-month period. Is that a standard CFO placement?
Well, I think there are, I think the basic is, like, definitely when we advertise that we need a people, definitely we are very selective in terms of getting whom we are getting aboard, with the diversification, with the mindset, and definitely open to work as well. So these, I think, the soft skills, how they're doing, and in terms of technical skills. So these are the things being there. So shortlisting, after the shortlisting, the process takes very quickly. In fact, it goes to the various interview process, first interview, second interview process. And then once we decide, yeah, this particular gentleman is really fit for that one, I think it's not matter for us to really, we are happy. He should be also happy, or she should be also happy to really join us, right? She should understand, or he should understand what he's bringing and what we are bringing to the table as well. So, but as soon as the shortlist and everything, the process is very quick. It's not that long. In fact, yes, but then the join, definitely there's systems and everything. They need to understand the policies, the procedures, how the things are going. So they go, oh, there's a 6 weeks of, once in a week we do, in fact. So there's a 6-7 days they need to spend over the period of 1.5 months or 1 month type of things. All depends. But they're ready, in fact. As soon as they collect, in fact, they are ready, in fact. So we have example that people would like to onboard, and we onboarded, and they got within 1 month, they're up and running.
Yeah, it's kind of a plug and play method. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you see the AI either augmenting or threatening the CFO role?
I think it's not threatening at all. I think it's making the life more easier, and I think more of giving them more thoughts and facts. AI is the now bread and butter, DNA. I think that those who don't talk about the AI in any of the function, not just on the finance function, in fact, you look at everything. So you need to maximize the AI. That's what it's about. So I think that we are getting more information from more inside information from the AI than used to be past. It's more efficient way of doing that. So I'll just give you an example. In fact, when I first joined back in 1996, almost 30 years now. So the finance report was being done, basic profit and loss and all. I'm talking about one of the large organizations. It took 7 days. One papers, and then someone's calling and putting that numbers. I'm talking 30 years back, and this point was there. So at that time, it was my first day of the job. And after 7 days, when they completed, so the person who hired me, the chief financial officer at that time, said, "How was the work?" I said, "Work is fine." But I said, "What? I think why it taking so long? In fact, why can't we do anything at that time?" So he was I think he was from the British as well. So he told me, "Adnan, what do you want?" I said, "Like, we need some data to be dumped IT, and there should be some macro should be running at that time." The macro was at that time very few people know at that time, Excel macro. So at that time, in fact, he came, sat on the table, just like here, in fact, did something and called the IT, and we got it done. So next day, next month, we were getting report within 2 days. Let's give you an example, from 7 days, 2 days. And we reached to the stage that, and I took this legacy and I learned from my early stages. And one of the bank that in Oman, in fact, we see. So 30th June was evening, and first day, 8:30 was a management meeting. So we got the report 8:30 without AI. Imagine. So it was just only normal fixing the process. Yeah. So coming back to the AI, in fact, sorry, I'm just a little bit diverting about some. So coming to the AI, in fact, now you can do various analysis type of things. You can extract the information which you need it. In fact, it will give you a more forward-looking approach. But yes, your brain has to be there. So you cannot just blindly rely on the AI, in fact, because AI is helping you. AI not superseding you. So you have to make sure that whatever the information you are using through AI, make sure that makes sense and it really gives you direction type of things. Although even if you put there again on the AI, there's yes, the guidelines are perfect. No, I think you need to make sure that, and it is really aligned with the vision of the company as well. So I think it's really wonderful to have AI, and everyone has to really understand uh, the basic fundamental of the AI.
Yeah, and I saw a great piece of AI kit presented yesterday, and it was looking at a sales funnel and understanding what the issues were and why nobody was reaching any of their targets. And it just very quickly scraped, it was all mock data, but all the Excel spreadsheets that showed the hiring process, the interviews, the exit interviews of all the sales teams, and all of their professional development meetings in between. And within 15 minutes, it provided a dashboard to show exactly what the problems were, which were two top performers had left. And those top performers had consistently said what they were uncomfortable with throughout their PDs and in their exit interviews. And then it was again, the prompt of the CFO was then, well, where are my new candidates? is my HR department, do they need support? So no, the HR department doesn't need anything other than you just increasing the salaries to attract more people in to encourage the pipeline. But this was all done within 15 minutes. And I suppose to your point there, the CFO, as the role evolves, you actually become key stakeholder engagement, because you're then having to translate that data and position it sensitively, culturally, in whatever way is best across whether it's to the board or whether it's to peer or to middle managers, whatever. So actually communication becomes almost more important than the finance.
True.
Mm.
I think it's the CFOs now, I think, is working very closely with the board, definitely, as you highlighted, with the owners and with the founders and everything. It's very important. They're sitting in the CFO, sitting in the key meetings as well as a decision maker. If you look at back where we went 15 years back, it was just only that the businesses was deciding, in fact, and then CFO just presenting the numbers. Now it's not the case anymore for the last almost decades now. So yeah, CFO has to be heard, in fact, and then has to be listened to make sure that he becomes a part of the strategy and navigating the strategy as well. That's one of the reasons, in fact, if you look at these, when merger acquisition comes in. So one of the busiest person in the organization is the chief financial officer. So I think it's very, very crucial role, and owners, in fact, they understand that this is a very key role.
Are you seeing a rise in that M&A activity in the region in the last few years?
In fact, I have seen, and we have seen that a lot of businesses are coming up and acquiring the businesses as well. Some of these businesses which are very challenging as well, they would like to exit. So yes, we have seen a lot of M&A activities is going on. And if you look at if I need to share that CFO Centre is globally, in fact, they have assisted almost 4,000 merger and acquisition and exit transactions. So this alone, this you can see the strength of our team, right? And yeah, our CFOs came from the various backgrounds, various industries, manufacturing, health sector, everything. And they also been involved in the IPO process as well. So, and IPO process, we have seen a lot of IPOs in the UA as well, and one of the largest as well. So it's growing. In fact, M&A activity is growing. And coming back to, if I need to link the CFO, how is being there. So CFO, if existing CFO is working and then when company goes for the IPO, so they need helping hand. That's for, in fact, the CFO Centre really support. So definitely, while in terms of the fractional, we are not fractional, we are supporting on assignment basis. So we have people who has worked in the IPO as well. We help the client as well to make sure that while they focus on the IPO, but they have to ensure that the other regulatory bits, reporting, everything has to be continued. If there is reporting has to go to the regulator, which has to go on time, make sure it's being accurate as well. So we work, although CFOs exist, so we are the partner with the CFO along with the CFO.
Mm. And for any company that's listening now in the kind of the early startup, that obviously their lofty ambition will be exiting in however many years' time, how important is it to be thinking of that end goal in the startup? And it's an open question because I know it's obviously very important, but for somebody that's thinking, oh gosh, this isn't, to have a CFO advising me at this early stage, it seems like a big expense. I just want you to emphasize the importance of having somebody at that early stage.
I think, especially for the startups, in fact, it's really hard to get on the team. In fact, we have seen in the UAE that a lot of companies open that one-man show, maybe 2 people, 3 people maximum. But definitely they can't afford to have finance function at that time, right? So initially, definitely they have to make sure that they grow to that level. But then after some time, they need to engage, right? So the CFO is a beauty of the fractional CFO that if they can't afford the CFO, so once in a month, in fact, they don't have any number, they just started, right? So once in a month, if you ask us to, we can really deploy the people and see that once in a month, the CFO will provide the services. And as you grow your journey, so you can also see that momentum is coming, right? So business is coming, and then you can afford that one. So we are not only support you from the CFO perspective, but also support from the strategy perspective, where you would like to go for the next, right? And it's a long journey. It's not easy. Like you have very few exceptional cases in UA, especially as well, that They have gone within 2 years. They have really gone very multiple, triple of the business as well. But but 2 to 3 years time is the average time. They're really matured. At that time, they need to set up the finance team and also the team members as well. Now, we also do not only just providing the CFO services, we also assist them to establish the finance function as well. So they need guidance. Okay, which type of people will be requiring, whether they require 4 or 5 people or 1 or 2 people will be there, in fact. So kind of a thing. Not only on this thing, we also mentoring those finance team member, which is very important because this is a legacy we are going to leave behind, right? If they don't need a full fractional CFOs. So it's our responsibility as a corporate CSR responsibility as well to make sure that we also train the people within the organization and also take to the next level.
I think that mentoring piece is really important because it is that kind of trusted advisor that is also going to be looking after your money. It's almost the no-brainer, isn't it? Why wouldn't you? And I really like what you're saying there about how the CFO Centre model can grow with the company. So you're saying once a month through to, you know, hopefully onboarding. And in fact, that would my next point actually is in terms of any recruitment, if somebody really gets on with that CFO on a fractional basis, is there then the opportunity to hire them full time?
Well, definitely. In fact, I'm not denying that the function, the fractional after that sometime is going to be if your role become really require full-time type of CFOs, definitely one should go for the fractional type of longer term. And we also provide, I think it's not anything that the terms will be different,
Yeah.
definitely. That's what it means. But we make sure that we provide the fractional so that there will not be heavy burden on their pocket as well. But in the meantime, they are getting the same level of services as if the full-time they are hiring. So one of the beauty of the fractional CFO service is that we sit on the meeting as well as we are part of the team. It's not, I think, the client doesn't treat as as a consultant. They treat as a strategic partner. So we sit on these all the committees with them, key decision maker, and we are available. That's what is not been there. Like if something is happening in the evening or something office hours, in fact, and they need something to really discuss, they pick up a phone and we are here. In fact, we can help them. So it's nothing, in fact, that really bothering that it's 9 to 5 type of job. In fact, or we are just providing an hourly basis. We are going beyond that.
And in your experience and what your CFOs are telling you, what are the key pain points for a particular small to medium enterprise?
Well, I think here, especially, the growth has been phenomenal in the UAE, the Middle East. There are a lot of startups coming up, and a lot of branch offices are coming up here, and they're very good ideas and very good in the operational side. In fact, we attend a lot of other meetings as well, meet with a lot of people. So they've got a lot of idea. But the only thing which is challenge is the strategic financial consulting. That's what is missing. So they don't understand really the importance of the finance in the early stage as well, even in the middle stage, I can say. So they treat as the finance function as a bookkeeping or the accounting type of thing. Finance function is more than that. So that's what, in fact, they don't understand. Not all the owners, in fact, they have a finance experience, right? So, but here, the lot of companies are owner operated, founders and everything, but they don't have any expertise in the finance. That's where we come into the play as well. So they think that they have finance knowledge. Yeah, I'm sure that definitely commercial knowledge is one thing, but the financial knowledge and financial strategy is the thing that they are lacking. So this is one of the area they don't look at, and when the crew, in fact, they sometimes they don't take any quick decisions, or maybe they're taking a decision on the not the right information which is available to them.
Okay, I'm speaking to the members through all of our events. The pain point that I pick up on is cash flow.
Yep.
And also when you have a founder business, there is they treat their employees as family. So the salaries are always paid, but they're not always being paid in. So how would you advise somebody that is restricted by maybe some extended payment terms from clients versus a monthly payroll obligation?
Well, I think if I'll give me a little bit, allow me to little bit deviate from that one. You're right. In fact, cash flow, your budgeting, financial projections, very, very key. It goes back to my earlier answer that, look, if you earn 1 million, doesn't mean that you are spending that type of thing. This is where, in fact, that when you have to make sure that when you're doing the business, who are your supplier or who are your contractor and to whom you are dealing with there, right? So, and you have to make sure that you agree terms and condition in advance with them and make sure someone is there to really follow and kind of, so you need to make sure that you match with this and at least you always have a cash positive situation so that you have whatever the obligation is coming up, you can really pay to your employees on a timely basis. And again, it goes back to staff definitely. All staff definitely not, they are not working for free, right? They need to make sure that they have been compensated what's being there. So otherwise you'll lose or maybe you'll demotivate. And we have seen examples here in especially some of these startups. In fact, they started and then they have ambitious plan, in fact, and they immediately hire 10, 50 people. And then after 2, 3 months, they said, oh, we don't have any salary. We're stuck in the receivable type of thing. That decision really is paining for them. And that's where, in fact, when we get into the board, in fact, we discuss with them. These are the things that we need to look at. Why you're in a rush in the moment right now. You have to make sure that you should have a realistic plan to really achieve your growth.
Yeah, that's really sound advice.
Yeah.
And looking at the multinational corporates, I mean, is it exactly the same, but just on a bigger scale? Like, what are their pain points at the moment
Which one?
for the multinational corporates?
Well, multinational corporate at the moment right now, I think is they have grown rapidly, definitely, and especially in the other geographies as well. So they have their own dynamics type of thing. The bigger you have, the more responsibility, accountability comes in, right? So I think if you're the larger bank, you're the DSAs, definitely more regulatory requirement will come type of thing. So they have to ensure that the first of all, regulatory is very important and depend on which type of segment that you are, the multinational company. Right? You're on the consumer side, so you need to make sure that you have all your consumers tick box available for the regulatory side. So regulatory compliance is one of the key things that needs to make sure that your business continuity, because any single mistake, anything is going to really wipe off your business as well. So multinational organization always focus on the regulation, make sure they have a strict regulation compliance in place, and they have a right team to really to address those. Now, even with the multinational, in fact, organizations, bigger organizations, they have a lot of projects coming up, right? Be in the HR, be in the IT, be the finance and everything. This is where they need the support for every fractional services that being provided. Be in the marketing as well. That we have fractional marketing, I think, services being here. So I think we also have a fractional marketing services as well at the group level. So they also need some support, multilateral, as and when the project comes in. But they have their own dynamics, definitely. They have to have make sure that they adhere to this dynamic.
And what advice, you talked about regional experience, what advice would you give to somebody that's looking to come over from the UK to work in the UAE? It's a little sort of chicken and egg because they'll be asked for experience but they want the experience. So can you give any advice as how somebody might crack that in a very candidate rich market?
Well, look, I think that from the UK, the people are coming. There are a lot of British companies here, in fact, and a lot of are coming up as we speak. In fact, a lot of people are moving here from that experience. So I think, as I told you, CFOs experience the CFO experience where they work. In fact, it's not doesn't matter. It's just when they come, in fact, they need to understand what's the dynamics here. In fact, it's not the same dynamics that you follow in the UK. In fact, there's a different dynamics here. Different culture aspect has been there. The working environment is different here, definitely, as you can see that it's more relaxed. When it's relaxed means it's more easy to do the business as well here, and as well as the environment is very, very good to really work here. So the when the person comes in, make sure that they understand what are the dynamics here and how the people behaves in that way and what kind of challenges being faced here. It's less complex here, I can say, because if you worked in, say, in other parts of the world, even in Canada or the UK, in fact, from the finance team, you have more regulations, more tax, the various type of regulations that been there. So here in UAE is very straightforward. You're paying VAT, which is much less than in the UK and the Canada as well, and the corporate is just 9%, which is recently implemented as well. So I think this is a kind of a thing is being done. So it's not a rocket science, I can say. So any person who's coming here and who like to be explore opportunity in the finance field is just quick start, I can say.
and I'm assuming reaching out to you directly and
Yeah.
with a nice tidy CV. Do you help anybody with their CVs as well? Like how involved do you get in development?
No, in fact, we don't help in a way that but if any client comes in, suppose if existing client and think you need something help, definitely with the experience we can help them type of thing. But our process is very easy. In fact, if you go to CFO Centre, you have said, in fact, if you want to join a team, click on the join the team, put up your information there, and upload the information, CVs, and everything, and immediately within very few days, the person will be looking at and contacting you if you fit for that role. Now, definitely, a lot of people, if I look at here in my list, which is potential list of become the CFO with my team as well, wonderful experiences type of thing. We make sure that we get on board when we see really opportunity exist and make sure we can be there. So going back to that one, the process is very easy. If they need to really join our team, they can go and submit the database, and database will remain with us. In fact, it's I think confidential as well, and we definitely put it on our database. So as and when opportunity also comes in, we can call them, engage them.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for your time. So we'll share all the details of how people can reach out to you. And thank you so much for being a member of the British Chamber of Commerce Dubai. Wishing you the best of luck for the CFO Centre.